Well, the format is actually doing some very interesting things at the moment. For the 34% of you that have not smashed the living crap out of that subscribe button, smash it so we can climb up the 111,000 ladder here. Alright, we gotta do the metagame update here for what is happening out of this month. We've officially had basically 2 weeks in the month of January here, and we have seen some very interesting rogue things happening. The first thing I got to touch on here is what in the world is happening with Veilance. Now, for those of you that watched the regional breakdown, you saw Veilance top regional, and you probably looked around in that video, and you kind of had the same thought I did, and you're like, nope, discrediting it, nope, don't care, one off, nope, don't care, it's bad. Well, out of France, a Veilance FTK topped. That is, well, actually, I think it was France. It was a regional. So that puts 2 Veilance decks in the last 2 weeks that have both topped. One more of a combo build, one an FTK. Now, the fact that you have an FTK running around in the format that somehow managed to top a regional, that's something that you need to look around and go, huh? Well, one big thing here I will say with this is the fact that because of the way that the format is right now, and certain hand traps are seeing less play right now, that's definitely put an emphasis on why something like the Veilance FTK can actually perform, because there is not anything really to stop it. I mean, yeah, hand traps are still relevant, don't get me wrong, but when you have a 1-card FTK that you can just kind of make like a sideboard to, and also the big thing is people don't know how to play against these things. Player knowledge is always going to be one very big thing out here, and if players have zero idea what in the world is going on, and you have a Veilance deck just show up out of nowhere, you're literally going to turn your head and you're going to go, what? Like, what? Well, what is this? All right, so that is something really kind of worth interestingly talking about out here. So that definitely caught my attention here, is the fact that we've had not one, but supposedly 2 Veilance decks out here actually doing something. So that's very interesting. Now, out of the, what was it, the Italian Open, it was what, last weekend, we saw Sky Striker Runic come out of the woodwork. Now, don't get me wrong, I love the concept behind that deck. I think that that's definitely going to be one of the more interesting ideas out here. I mean, you don't even have to play monsters in your deck. Linkage just gives you a monster. Alright, so like, you activate a Runic spell card and then go ahead and linkage it away. Congratulations, you get a free body on the field, and you get to do your thing. And also, to top it off, you can go ahead and rotate out, one of your EDM monsters for linkage, and congratulations, you get to establish a Sky Striker link. Now I can go ahead and do everything that I would want to do with the deck. Seems particularly good to me. I mean, it seems at the standard end of the day what you would aim to do. I think that that's kind of cool. I mean, we've seen standard Runic. I mean, don't get me wrong, Messenger of Peace deck has been pretty cool, but in terms of your innovation, I mean, like, spicy. I don't know. I found that very interesting, the fact that you could take advantage of the Sky Striker package inside of your Runic deck, and then you're like, oh boy, I can toggle through, I can take advantage of these engages, I can take advantage of all of this like free draw power and not really get punished for it. And I think that that's actually pretty important at the end of the day. There's also, Thunder has been doing some things too. I actually find this kind of interesting, that Thunder has managed to kind of secure a spot out here in a way to, yeah, kind of to be an engine, I think is the best part. Because, I mean, 95%, actually, I think all of the builds that I've seen. I mean, there was the Thunder tier list that showed up. There was another more recent list out of the YCS Sydney where you saw the Thunder package being used as like stepping stones and combo pieces, and then the same thing out of the more recent regional that you guys seen, that, same thing. Thunder's being used to facilitate combo stepping stones. And I think that's actually kind of interesting too. Somebody's going to be like, take a sip every time you hear Robbie say interesting. But I mean, when your entire format has been nothing but tier, when you've had so much tier elements being thrown at you every which way, you take a step back and you go, wow, these 1 to 2 off victories that you're seeing really are cool as crap. All right, and that's like the purpose of this video. Is I kind of wanted to bring everybody up to speed here with like these little innovations here between, you know, Valance actually getting the chance to show up, the fact that we've had, you know, Thunder packages being splashed in decks, the fact that Sky Striker and Runic had a child for an event, and then the fact that we've seen Medolche Medolche got 13th at a regional, and then topped 4 out of Albuquerque last weekend. So that's also very important to know. The Medolche, you know, even after the loss of all of the shenanigans that you really seen that deck has been through, you know, with the loss of the Herald, with the loss of consistency, the deck still stands pretty strong, and it can be one of the decks in the room that actually breaks the format open, and that's actually very, very interesting to really take note of here. Now that's the good news. The whole format right now, the dark side of things is tier elements is still running around. We know this. We have Sprite on the back burner, kind of doing its job as well. There's no real shocker to, you know, seeing that those two are very represented. Sword Soul's been doing a little bit of a run back, and I mean a little bit of a run back. It hasn't been anything too spectacular. There's a little bit more emphasis in light on the deck right now. You do have okay matchups with it. I mean, obviously, like Runic, Flounder are some of your more basic decks at this point, and we are heading into the big meta shift here with the next Seft, which I think is going to stop a lot of these rogue decks. As much as I love Kashtira as a deck, the minute that you let a walking, talking macro Cosmo that's accessible at all points into the game, you are going to have some issues. Now, will there be events where you won't play Kashtira every single round? Yeah, there will be. But decks that do rely on their graveyard, like, you know, the Runic, are going to get shut out. So while I'm very happy to see that Runic has been performing with the loss of Mystic Mine, we're about to enter into that era right now where you're going to see that probably end. But Sphere Mode does exist. There are cards that do exist that decks will actually be able to use and evolve with. I did see, very oddly enough, that Runic did actually show up in some of the OCG events, and it did actually do things every blue moon. So even though we're heading into walking, talking macro Cosmo purgatory here, there definitely looks like that there's some hope on the horizon, at least for that. So other little interesting notes that I guess I can throw into this, while the format itself still remains, you know, the way it is, people are testing out new ideas. We've kind of reached the point now that people are bored with tier and its current iteration, which means that players are now starting to head towards other decks. And that's actually a very good thing for the progression of the format here, is because now people want to test out other things. People are like, hey, you know, I got my invite, so every blue moon you'll see a turnover of a duelist here that did relatively well with a different deck. Alright, and you know, it's like, hey, I already got my invite, hey, I was successful with this, and you will continue to see that. I guess I should also mention Exosister here. To everybody out here that pointed out to me that Exosister is the best anti-meta pick in the room, nope, you are wrong. Runic officially has more love right now in events than Exosister does on the current format, which is absolutely hilarious, by the way. So that's definitely something relatively major to pick up. Also, Draco Slayer is still doing things. It's just not doing them as much, if that makes sense. They're still there in the room, shaking up the format a little bit, but that's the general course that we're going right now. So what do you guys think about the format? Please, leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I'll see your beautiful faces back here later today, guys. Patrons, thank you. Ugh.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.